About it. You really about it. Tune on in, no need to sign it. Only hit the like button and sign up to subscribe it. Let's talk about it. Talk about it. Let's talk about it. What you saw the latest trending topics, we gonna talk about it. Really about it. Tune on in, no need to sign it. Only hit the like button and sign up to subscribe it. Let's start it off with Mr. Brady. Play the game to win it. Whatever that you think you analyzing, he gon' spin it. He note on the money, get it straight from the beginning. Hit you with some quotes before you know it's gonna be trending. These boys ain't no rookies, they some veterans like BA. That's why we got real ones on the team like that boy TA. No, I ain't for GA, but I do keep it the G way. Just like that boy MB when he breaking down the replay. Let me pick your brain, who you pick to win the game. Cause I can't pick a thing until I hear from Jamie Drain. Drain, serve it up, come have some fun with us from 8 to 9. 8 to 9 every Wednesday, talking sports, we going live. Let's talk about it, talk about it, let's talk about it. What you saw the latest trending topics, we gonna talk about it. Don't forget you really about it, tune on in, no need to sign it. Hit the like button and sign up to subscribe it. Yeah, this following program is gonna be brought to you
Yeah, what is the deal, man? We back with the theme music, man. Shout out C-Note on the money for the plug. What it do? Can y'all hear me?
What up?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
So what about C-Note say he can't hear? C-Note, can you hear me? He the only one. He the only one can't hear. Yep. Everybody but you.
He ain't got his phone muted, do it.
I don't know. Let me see. Talk to me. Talk to me. We're back. Let's see. No, get his what you call it?
His volume going.
Get his volume cranked up. Anything. But we back with another episode of Mike Talk. I absolutely know everybody has done their homework and due diligence. That's one thing y'all do. Y'all do your homework. Y'all really went above and beyond for show one for the amount of homework and stuff you did. I was just like, coming in a little willy-nilly. Yeah. Back out, C-Note, come back in. Let me see. Let's do that. Boom. Yeah, C-Note come back in. Sometimes that audio that's kind of sticky like that. And we'll go from there. Let me get these questions posted for you guys. I know y'all got some fire intel. And let's see. Boom, boom. I know we are taking a break from the NFL tonight, and we're gonna switch gears to NFL. Talk a little NFL. I guess that's why we got these. The guy got some kind of hat on. I don't know what the dude got on, man. I really don't. I mean, I know he love it. What about C-Note? What you got?
We on the NFL topic.
Yeah, man. What's happening with it?
What's up, brother?
Yeah, we're gonna switch gears a little bit, man. I gave you a shout out, man. I appreciate the plug for the intro music. Absolutely fire. I hadn't heard my name in a rap since probably 7th grade. Maybe 7th grade. I was a rapper back in the 7th grade, but didn't work out. Didn't work out for me. I was somewhat of a rapper. I had a rap tape out. I had a case and everything. Just to let you all know what could have been. It could have been Drake calling me out. We were this close to that. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
That's all I'm saying. But we're switching gears, taking a break from the NFL just for a moment. And our first topic of the night, we're going to switch gears to NFL. Hold on, what's going on here? Oh, here we go. This is on the ticker right now. What NFL team was the biggest offseason winners as a result of the draft and free agency leading up to the NFL? Everybody ready for football. And what teams had the worst offseason? I'm going all the way to the Bay. We're gonna start in the Bay with this one. He got his head on, so
Yes.
I know he's ready to chit chat and give
Yes,
us his opinion. Aunt B, what you got with for your opinion on this matter?
Well, I think I kind of went with the Ravens as far as what team had some of the biggest offseason as a winner because of the thing. If you look at the free agency, they did go out and get Derrick Henry, so someone that could take load off of Lamar Jackson as far as being able to run the ball without putting a lot of pressure on him. Also, they did go out into the draft and draft some DBs, offensive tackle to help protect them as well, because I do think they had some injuries across the offensive line last year. And of course, with Lamar Jackson, you got to be able to protect him. But like I said, the DB Nate Wiggins, who was, I think, maybe one of the fastest cornerbacks in the draft. I mean, you add someone like that to that secondary where you already have Humphrey on the other side. I think, it kind of pushes them, a little further this year with AFC run in the playoffs. As far as the worst, I kind of went with the Falcons. They did sign your guy from the Vikings. I went with the Falcons. I didn't like everything else that they did in the offseason. I mean, as far as the draft, it wasn't nothing that hit on all cylinders to me. I still think their defense needs some more work. Of course, you can take Kirk Cousins and let him, hand it off to Beijing Robinson and or throw it to the tight end. But what are you going to do on the defensive side of the ball when it's time to stop somebody? So as far as those two best and worst, I went with the Ravens as the best, and then I went with the Falcons as the worst.
Okay, I got you. It would be right, but we're gonna go with your I guess fan base rival. We're going all the way to Jerry World, and let's see what the boys talking about.
Man, listen, it's always good to be on with such great minds. Listen, my best and worst both come from the state of Texas. My best team for the offseason was the Houston Texans. You saw what they did last year with their 2 first-round picks, picked up C.J. Stroud, Will Anderson, had a great year, went to the divisional round, lost to the Ravens. So they had an amazing year last year with 2 rookies. Then you come in this year, they didn't have the first, but they had 2 seconds. You pick up Kamari, I think Lassiter, the Georgia DB. Then you got an offensive tackle out of Notre Dame. So they picked up some really good pieces all the way throughout the draft. But then you go get Daniil Hunter, Jeff Okudah, and a couple other back-end pieces to help with that defense. So I think that the Texans had an amazing, a really, really good offseason to build on the success that they had last year. Then to not be a fan, my worst team was also out of the state of Texas, and it's the Dallas Cowboys, man. We literally did not really help ourselves a whole lot in free agency. Pollard left. We also lost Michael Gallup in free agency, coming off of a decent season, but you know how the Cowboys fan base is. It's Super Bowl or bust. I don't subscribe to that, but at the same time, the offseason moves didn't really help us. We moved back to pick up an offensive tackle, which was a position of need, but then still didn't really hit a lot of things in the draft that I thought would be splash or big plays like a Micah Parsons, like a Trayvon Diggs, things of that nature. But I will give Jerry Jones credit. They have done an amazing job drafting in the last 4 to 5 years, which has put us in this position where we're having to pay some of those rookies, CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, those type of guys who are coming into the last couple of years of their contract. But I didn't like it overall for the team because I don't know that we got much better. We probably didn't get a whole lot worse either. So those are my best and worst: Houston Texans and the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay, I got it. Let's go to Tennessee. Talk to me, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could easily be a homer and pick my Titans. I could do that. We lost Derrick Henry. I'm a big Henry fan. But a lot of people, Tennessee is a small market, so we don't get a lot of coverage as far as the national media and things like that.
Never. Literally never.
So people don't know. They just, they see Henry with the big runs, but they don't see Henry getting taken out every third down because he can't catch.
Yeah.
So it's things like that. We got a little back. I like Tajay Spears. We picked up Tony Pollard for the Cowboys. So, we traded and got Snead from the Chiefs. So we had a pretty good offseason. Okay. But that's not my team for best offseason. I'm in line with TA tonight.
Okay.
I went Texas all the way, baby.
Big T.
The Texans, they loaded up. Like he already said, they got Danielle Hunter. The trading got Stephon. They got Stephon Diggs. They got Joe Mixon. Their offense is loaded. Not to mention, they got the receivers they already had. Nico Collins. You got Tank Dell, who had a nice rookie year last year.
Yeah.
You got the tight end from the Cowboys a couple years ago, Dalton Schultz, who's a great tight end. He fits their offense perfectly. So Stroud has it mapped out offensively. Now, if you could just get the defense, like I said, like TA said, they added Danielle Hunter. They got Danico Archie from Tennessee, he's old. He's an older guy.
Yeah.
He had solid numbers. He had like 10 sacks for us last year. And they also got our middle linebacker, Azeez Al-Shahir, who came from the 49ers the year before that.
Yeah.
So the Texans look good. Worst offseason. How about them Cowboys? I don't know. Hey, the Cowboys, free agent wise, they signed Eric Kendricks, who's a middle linebacker. He's on his way out. He's so long in the tooth, he can be called a saber-tooth tiger. But and I feel for Dak, but Jerry Jones loves Dak.
Yeah.
And it's like he's trying to squeeze apple juice out of a lemon. He trying to do so much for Dak, and he want Dak to be the guy. And you talk to most Cowboy fans, they said Dak's not that guy. So you really don't go out and do anything to help him. You lose Michael Gallup. Of course, they got the little receiver toe, but I think he can slide into that number 3 spot.
Mm-hmm.
And, but the Cowboys are going to go out how their defense takes them, because they really didn't do much in the draft. They drafted a couple of offensive linemen, but I just don't see, as far as a running back, who's the running back? Zeke? You bringing Zeke back?
They brought him back. They did bring him back.
That's terrible. For what? You didn't want him heading out the door. You open the door and bring him back in?
They did.
State of Texas. Best and worst. Texas.
All right. Top 1, top 2. Let's go to Baltimore. Baltimore picked up Henry. We know that for sure. Let's see what C Note on the money talking about.
Well, I'm going with, y'all gonna hate this, the Philadelphia Eagles. Best offseason.
As your top, the top
offseason in the NFL. In fact, I got the Philadelphia Eagles as my Super Bowl pick coming out of the NFC.
I don't like it. Come on with it, man. I don't even want to hear it, really.
They made some major improvements. They had a lot of flaws in their defensive secondary last year. A lot of flaws. They hired Vic Fangio as defensive coordinator, and also added Kellen Moore on the offensive coordination. So they fixed a lot of woes in terms of being organized on the defensive side and the offensive side. They also drafted 2 studs in the secondary in the draft. They had arguably the best cornerback in the draft with my guy, what's his name? Let me see. Quentin Mitchell.
Okay.
Yeah, he's one of the best defensive backs out of Toledo in the whole draft. He can cover. He's very physical. I mean, he makes plays on the ball. They also drafted the guy out of Iowa, Cooper DeJean. Yeah, Cooper DeJean. I think he's gonna be converted to a safety, and he can also play cornerback, obviously. So I can see him starting at safety, and also obviously they got Darius over there, Darius Slay.
Yeah.
So they have they upgraded the defensive back immensely, and they also have already had a good defensive line. They drafted Jeremiah Trotter. That's a hometown hero.
Yeah. They gonna put him in position to win.
Absolutely. So I really love their draft, and they also got one of the best running backs in football, Saquon Barkley. So they did the opposite of what the Cowboys did. They got them a running back to support Hurts. Hurts had a down season last year. I expect him to bounce back, especially with the addition of Barkley supporting him in the running game. Yes, they lost Kels. That's going to be a huge loss, especially with the tush push that they rely on. But I think they're more than compensated for it with the additions on the offensive end and the defensive end. And also, let's not forget Brad's guy from Florida State, the 6'7" giant, Wilson, out of Florida State.
Okay.
He's going to be a red zone threat. He's not the best in the route tree and all of this stuff, but he's more fluid than people give him credit for. I really like him as a red zone threat, running the seam routes up the middle to give Hurts a target. They have weapons everywhere on offense, as we all know. So those are my best off-season moves as far as the Philadelphia Eagles. I think they're going to take it.
Who didn't do enough then?
So who didn't do enough? I was gonna go with the Cowboys, but I'm gonna get off. I'm gonna get off the train. Everybody, y'all don't beat the Cowboys to death, so I'm gonna go with it's gonna be surprising to hear this, but I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs. Reason being, think about it. They lost their best cornerback. The best cornerback in football, arguably, is gone.
Definitely top 5.
Yeah. Arguably, that's what I said. Arguably, he's the best cornerback in football. He locked down everybody in the playoffs. Took them off the map. And so that's going to be a huge loss for them. And then offensively, they struggled scoring last year. Did they improve? Yes, slightly. They brought in a couple guys, but you got to look at Rice is going to be suspended probably for the whole year, if not for
very good chance Rice is out.
Rice is, he's going to be gone. And then they got a rookie wide receiver that they're relying on. A lot, to kind of take his place. Yes, they brought in the guy from Arizona. What's his name? Brown, Hollywood Brown. I think he's going to help them out a lot, but I don't think he's going to compensate for the for Bryce being gone. And I don't like to rely on rookies, that much. Plus I've seen him drop a few passes as well. So I think they're going to take a step back. Obviously, they're going to make the playoffs, but I don't think the Chiefs is going to be as powerful as people think they're going to be in terms of a repeat. So I think they're going to take a slight drop off.
Listen, that's one thing I can always count on is a difference of opinion in this room. I can always count on it. For me, just give my quick take on it. Winners is the Bears. I'm not a Bear fan. Of course, I'm a hometown team. Who I like is who I like. But getting that quarterback in place from Fields, what he brought the instability and uncertainty there, that's getting the guy to say, hey, this is our guy. We are going to back this guy. It's going to be huge. They also made some off-season moves that will probably be sneaky good. Behind Williams, they also traded mid-season for Montez Sweat. So Montez now has a full season in their defense, understanding what's going on. They moved him around side to side. That's something we never did. I think Sweat is going to be a staple in their defense. They also went and got Keenan Allen. So they got receivers, I guess, like players in position they don't have to teach. So you can't go in with a rookie team. You can't do like I do in Madden, trade everybody away and play with all 21-year-old, 22-year-old. So they brought in some people that already can play football and they can teach around them. Montez Sweat is a vet. He can teach anybody on the defensive line. He can help coach and mentor those guys. Same thing with Keenan Allen, a connection with the quarterback. Hey, he's not going to be a all-world athlete, all-pro, but he's going to be on the cusp of being that 5th or 6th best receiver in the NFC. I just think that overall their offseason was really solid. They addressed some needs like offensive tackle, cornerback in the draft, Tremont Edwards. They brought on some key pieces that they didn't have to completely rebuild. They're not playing 3 or 4 rookies out there at one time. Every position will have a rookie or two, and they have some veterans in place. Worst offseason, of course, I'm going to go with Arizona. I'm going to go with the Arizona Cardinals. If you go and look at all off-season moves and you go and look at the draft, the biggest thing they got was the receiver, Harrison Jr. That's literally it. When you talk about what they brought in the offseason, if you go and just Google Arizona offseason moves, literally the first thing they talk about is Cardinals re-signed punter Blake Gillikin. Like, that's the number one move they made in the offseason. They re-signed a couple of offensive linemen, Keith Ismail, who we let go, Tristan Collins, linebacker Chris Barnes. Like, these are, to say the least, pedestrians in the NFL or in Madden or however you want to look at it. They re-signed no one of significant value, Pro Bowlers or anything like that. And you have the uncertainty of Kyler Murray out all last season. They brought in a receiver off-season OTAs. Like, there's no certainty or jail there as far as his stay in Arizona. Will he be there long-term, or what they're going to do after this season if he doesn't produce well? Already picking high in the draft. And I don't like anything they did in the offseason. Absolutely anything. So we're gonna switch gears here. We're going to the WNBA. We've been waiting on this topic. We held it off last week. Has the WNBA turned a popularity corner in American sports with the addition of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese? We got 2 big names in there in the WNBA now, notable names. Social media is at an all-time high. Let's talk about Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, and the WNBA. We're going to start right here with On the Money C-Note.
Yes, I think that's a very intriguing topic. To answer your question, I think they have turned the corner. I think the WNBA is here to stay. However, I don't think Angel Reese gets enough credit. I think the media kind of spins it towards Caitlin Clark being the exclusive reason why that the WNBA has taken a step up towards popularity. Reason being, I just think if you really look at it from a number standpoint and a factual standpoint, a lot of it changed. I think both of them has a significant role in developing the popularity of the sport. But I really think Angel Reese, with her bravado and her charisma, her swagger, you know, her polarizing attitude, I also think she brought trash talk to the sport in terms of making it okay for females to trash talk as much as the guys do. You know, with the you know, taunting and all of that stuff. You know, we do it at the park all the time. But when the females do it, we kind of tend to ridicule them or say they shouldn't do that. That's not nice and all of that. So I think the media had to have a way of acclimating to that way of female, you know, coming in with that kind of bravado. If you also look at it, you know, Angel Reese was number 2 in this college sport. That includes male and female. She was number 2 in NIL deals, meaning the total deals that she had with 26. She had 26 total NIL deals. That was number 2 in the sport. So that tells you that she's very popular. I think she's the reason why pop culture is coming into play in terms of again, she's on a rap video with what's her name, Lotto, and you know, a lot more popular rap artists from a female standpoint in the game. She had Mulatto to come to her game. She was on the cover of Sports Illustrated twice, you know, with LSU from NIL standpoint and from a cover suit model standpoint. She was on The Breakfast Club as well. She was on Good Morning America. So she actually has more social media followers than Caitlin on Instagram. She has 3 million followers and Caitlin has 2 million followers. So I just think from a pop culture standpoint, she's bringing the overall popularity to the sport. Now, Caitlin brings she's more aesthetically pleasing on the basketball floor. You know, she shoots the three like Steph Curry, and a lot of fans love to watch her from a basketball standpoint. So I think, you know, from off the court interest, the normal casual fans, I think Angel is bringing that population in, and Caitlin is bringing in more of the people that are basketball heads and the true basketball fans to the sport. And I think the blend of the two has really helped out the sport ultimately.
Okay. All right. Talk to me, Mr. Play to Win the Game. What you think about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese?
I think they have. I think they've turned they definitely did it for me. Because I definitely wasn't watching women's college basketball or WNBA. You know, I'm not you guys are bigger basketball fans, period, than I am. I'm a football guy and a baseball guy. But they definitely have, brought my attention to the WNBA. Back in the day, as far as watching women's basketball, I didn't want to watch it because, like, the guys, if they can't dunk, I don't want to watch it. If they can't punish somebody under the rim, I don't want to see it.
It's not enough.
Yeah, but these girls have did. I mean, it's been a lot of great women's basketball players coming, from my
Absolutely
time.
True.
Cheryl Swoops, the Cynthia Coopers, the Maya Moores. It's been a lot of great women's basketball players.
True.
But these girls have really grabbed my attention. And they even got me locked in to 2 girls that's still playing in college. And
Juju,
Paige Beckers, and Juju.
That's a good point.
I like Paige Beckers. I like Paige.
Without Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, I wouldn't know about Juju and Beckers.
Yeah.
And those girls are tough. And I want to know what they're going to do. What I hope is, like Magic did for the NBA, getting them guys paid. He started that for what they were getting paid. I'm hoping that these girls can do that for the WNBA, because what they get paid is ridiculous.
Yeah.
For sports, it's they're very underpaid. So I hope these girls can change, the financial state of basketball also.
Just take it up another level.
Like Cino said, with all the NIL deals Angel Reese got, I hope that they continue to get more and more money so they can help those girls out financially.
I like it. Talk to me. Talk to me. TA. Talk to me.
Man, I agree wholeheartedly with what Brad and C said. These 2 young ladies have changed the popularity, but let's talk about the real reason why, right? Because like Brad said, the situation is we've seen great players come into the WNBA over the course of time. Cheryl Swoops and different players, even in the past few years. But the real issue I feel that's made them so polarizing is the same thing that makes a lot of things polarizing in the United States, that it's a race issue, right? It's black versus white. And a lot of times the simple situations like Larry Bird versus Magic Johnson, you have something that pits 2 sides against each other. And it's not necessarily a thing of good versus evil, but you have 2 varying degrees of basketball players. Like Cino said, you have the taunting that's coming from Angel Reese's side, and then you have the kind of bravado that Caitlin Clark plays with, and then they just happen to be black and white players. And you have the Iowa and Indiana versus the bad girls from LSU, and you know how they tried to kind of play that kind of role against each other. It kind of goes back to the Catholics versus convicts when Miami and Notre Dame used to play. It's kind of it has that feel to it, you know what I mean? And so it's it comes across as a polarizing thing, not because of their games necessarily, because they're just really good basketball players, but it gives you something to root for or root against. Because a lot of people didn't like how Angel Reese came off. A lot of people didn't like how Caitlin Clark came off when they were in college. And so the people who are following them have followed them since they played in college last year. And so I think that they are turning eyes to the game, but you have to have those polarizing presences to drive media attention. That's what drives media. That's what drives fan bases. It's not just the game. There's a lot of great players in the WNBA. Ionescu was shooting against Steph Curry in a 3-point contest in the All-Star game.
Right.
Half the world didn't even know about Sabrina Ionescu, but they know about these two girls not so much because of their game, but because they're polarizing. And America still is infatuated with a black-white dynamic, regardless of what people say.
Yeah, I agree with you. Talk to me, Blazer. Talk to me, Aunt B.
Yeah, I mean, of course, these guys are pretty much hit on everything, you know what I'm saying, as far as about the popularity. I did say, yes, it has changed, of course, because like now, I think they got a WNBA pass where they're trying to get a lot of people to buy those things and watch it, because I know if you guys like sports like me, a lot of times you're trying to catch every single game, no matter who it is playing. So I think putting things like that in play for those young ladies, it has really, turned the popularity corner for American sports with those young ladies out there. And of course, like watching them this year, of course, see like what those, like Brad said, what Paige Becker, what Juju gonna do. I think just seeing today that Dawn Staley, what she's doing over there at the Gamecocks, she just got another good recruit to commit to her out of the transfer portal from Arkansas. So I'm looking forward to seeing what their run is going to be like. Of course, the lady at LSU, she restocking everything with some talent as well. So I'm looking forward to see how these ladies can continue to compete further on down.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. For me, it's about storytelling, right? I'm not gonna say I think of myself, but I tell good stories, right? I can draw in a crowd based on how I describe certain things or set the tone or set the setting. That is what the WNBA has been missing. They've missed stories. Having stats, great, right? Because either you believe in the sport or you don't. Wayne Gretzky, you probably don't know 5 other hockey players, right? Because you don't know any stories behind who they are, what they do, what college, or who they went against. But like TA talked about, now you have polarizing figures, and people are digging into small nuances of everything they do. Oh, she shook hands. She didn't. She smiled. She didn't smile. Angel Reese snarled the other day. Oh, she shouldn't be doing all that. Like, what are you talking about? Like, are you serious? But it brings attention. When you're talking about getting paid or coverage, any attention, good or bad, is good attention. Any attention is good attention. So when you have the addition of these high-profile college stars like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, they have boosted the visibility. And like Brad said, once you boost visibility, it's going to pique a certain number of people's interest, right? You're not going to catch America by storm and have 542 WNBA fans. But if you catch a couple 100,000 this year, a couple 100,000 next year, a couple 5 more thousand going to a game here and there, like it only takes a certain snowball to start something huge. So these players bring a strong following from their colleges, right? So now those colleges, you talking about like pipelines, like you talking about North Carolina, you're talking about Duke. Now, once you start embedding that into the culture, hey, you come to my school, you can go to the WNBA. Nobody's been pumping it up. That hasn't been a thing ever. Like, you come to my school, to Iowa, you have a chance to be the next Caitlin Clark and go to the WNBA. Like, these are real goals now. So you putting it out there in front of 10th graders and 11th graders for the WNBA to be an aspiration. Like, this is a true goal now. So like the increase in media coverage and social media presence of these athletes have have I guess a true positive trend toward greater popularity for the WNBA as an American sport. And I think that's great. And like I said, like Brad talked about getting paid, get paid, please get paid. And that's what it's all about for me.
Let me add one more thing.
Come on with it.
I mean, when was the last time you've heard of two women, one woman, let alone two women's, their jerseys were sold out?
Never.
You know, Caitlin Clark's jersey was sold out right after the draft.
Literally,
Angel Reese's jersey was sold out week 1. You know, right before
literally never.
Started. I mean, that's never happened.
And like I said, now you have high school students, high school female athletes willing to go out and purchase WNBA jerseys, repping their favorite player. And so now the people that have no idea, we are the biggest advocates of sports. That's what we are. We the biggest advocates of sports. So now you have a 10th grader from Keisha or Becky or Sue or Quala, it don't matter. They're going to be talking about, oh yeah, I watch it all the time. Oh, let me watch. So they're pulling in casual fans at the high school and middle school level, and that's how you build a fan base. Not dropping a league on us and saying, "Hey, you need to watch this." Now it's going to be more homegrown, and that's how you get a real league. That's how you get a real fan base from the young up.
I saw something on YouTube the other day, and I didn't know this happened. I don't know if you guys knew, but did you all know Iowa played a game on Iowa's football field?
No,
they had a game against DePaul, real game. Basketball court set up on the football field.
I saw a clip of it. Hey,
unprecedented.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah. So
that further tells you how these players are changing the game.
Absolutely. Right. Let's switch gears. We're going to keep the rock in our hand, and we're going to talk about everybody's most talked about sports figure in the last 20 years, son. Is Bronny James a true NBA prospect, or is he a product of name hype? I mean, what is it? What's going on here? Let's go to TA first. TA, talk to me. Are you on the Bronny train, yay or nay?
To answer the question that's posed, yes, he's a product of he's a product of both. He's definitely a product of name hype. I mean, I don't think anybody can disagree with the simple fact that if it's not Bronny James, then he doesn't probably get the media attention, the celebrity status that he's gotten. But to disqualify him, and I think that's what sometimes I've seen in mainstream media, as a true NBA prospect, I think is unfair. The young man is athletic, he can guard. And the truth of the matter is that a lot of times, and myself included, what we look at is the offensive side of the ball. How does a person affect the game offensively? But you can go to different players throughout the league that affect the game. Drew Holiday, Draymond Green, Avery Bradley. You got the kid White from Boston. I mean, you got a lot of people in the league who make their name on the defensive side. And I think that's where he's going to be able to cut his teeth, is on the defensive side of the ball. No, he's not going to be, let's be honest, he's not going to be somebody you draft and expect to play year 1, year 2, maybe not even year 3. But the truth of the matter is over half the league is not playing and being impactful, even in the lottery, year 1, year 2, year 3. So would I take a chance on him? Absolutely. I think he's a great character kid. He's going to work hard. He's shown that. He's proven that. Will he affect the game? Yeah, 2 or 3 years down the line. I'm not putting him in the game year 1, expecting him to make change. But I like his comps when he was asked at the NBA draft who his comps were, especially a Drew Holiday type of player, somebody who's going to guard their position, make it really, really difficult for somebody else. He's going to probably average 7-8 points a game. That's perfect if I can keep the other guy's best player uncomfortable for most of the game. So I think he's going to be a role player at best. He's not going to be an NBA superstar like his dad, but I think he's definitely a true NBA prospect.
I like it. I like it. Talk to me, Mr. Play to win the game. What you got on Bronny? What's your take on Bronny James, my man?
I agree with TA. I think it's both. I think he's an NBA prospect. You know, we could easily say he could stay in college a couple more years and improve his game, and that's true. But I mean, like I said, I'm not a big basketball guy, but I'm a draft guy.
Mm-hmm.
After the first 10 picks of the NBA draft, the rest of them guys, I don't know who they are. They waste more picks on second round. That waste more picks in the second round than anything I ever seen in my life. You drafting people that may never even come over here and play in the NBA.
True,
so why not take
true.
a flyer on a Bronny James? I mean, the bloodline alone should get enough to, to be enough for somebody to take him late in the second round. I mean, they want to give Michael Jordan's sons a chance, but those guys were trash. I'm just being real. They didn't have they didn't have near as much talent as Bronny showed. Even with the few points he averaged, he still shows enough talent to be an NBA player. Like TA said, he's not going, we're not expecting him to come in and just
score 20 a night.
Yeah, but can he contribute? Yes. Defensive end, he got speed. He got all the athleticism in the world. He can play defense. Yes, he could come in, give you a couple highlights, couple, good plays here and there. So I think so. And like I said, the James name definitely carries. I think what's his little brother name? Bryce. I think Bryce would be better than Bronny. I think don't they got a little girl, right?
Yeah.
If she picks up a basketball, her dad's name should get us a recognition.
Yeah,
for the WNBA.
That's a fact. Let's go to C-Note. I want to go to C-Note early on the Bronny James train. Like, talk to me, C-Note. C-Note, you have a second round pick. You're a Golden State GM. Bronny's there. What do you do?
Okay. All right. As y'all know, I'm not the kumbaya guy on the segment. I'm gonna say all the controversial things. I'm gonna say a lot of polarizing things, and I'm gonna call it like I see it. I'm gonna say my answer to the end of my spiel. So this is what I'm saying. This is visual. These are the optics. Bronny did not dominate high school. Bronny did not dominate college. In fact, he struggled to get on the floor on one of the worst teams in college basketball. These are just the facts. Bronny looks good in warm-ups. He has a decent stroke. He can jump out the gym. He has a 40-inch vertical, 40.5-inch vertical to be exact. Derrick Rose, Derrick Rose territory. He has a nice jumper. We thought he was 6'3", but we later find out he's 6'1". When they did the measurables, he can guard a little, and so his athletically, his measurables, his stroke, his defense, other than his height, he's a tweener as well. He can't really run the floor as far as a point guard. He can't manage a basketball team at this point. So he's definitely gonna be a 6-man type role, 6, 7, 8 man off the bench kind of role player. So these are the facts. Some more facts on Bronny. He shot 67% from the free throw line.
Ooh.
67% from the free throw line. He shot 26% from three, 34%. Let me finish. 34% from the field goal. So these stats, even when he played, the numbers are very, very bad. Again, not a true point guard. So these are the facts. But as my dad told me, you got to look at it like a stock. You buy low and you sell high. So Bron right now, he's a low stock. You can get him for nothing, and maybe he may blossom into something great. With that being said, I'm all in on Bronny. I think you should draft him. I think he is going to be an NBA prospect, because you have to look at the whole vision of the story. The draft is probably one of the worst drafts in NBA history, in my opinion. I'm worse than Brad. Once you get past pick 3, it ain't nothing out there. You just throwing darts at the board. Why not throw a dart at Bronny, one of the best bloodlines in NBA history, King James?
Yeah.
I mean, King James is, if not the GOAT, a GOAT. You know, he's definitely top 3 all time. You know, anybody say anything after 3, they're crazy. Yeah. You know, and everybody knows I'm not the biggest Bron fan.
Yeah, I think I know that. I think I've heard it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, yeah, of course you draft Bronny. I would draft Bronny in the first round. I would draft him top 20.
20?
I would draft Bronny James top 20 because I'd rather miss swinging with Bronny James as opposed to miss swinging with John Doe that, you know, that you kind of like. Because nobody loves anyone.
Yeah.
Nobody's in love with anyone after pick number 3 to 5. So if I'm throwing a dart at Bronny James' bloodline, and I'm a hope on a wish and a dream that he come to fruition and find the potential that we all know he's capable of having.
All right. Let's hear from Aunt B. Talk to me, Aunt B.
Yeah, man, my take on it was, I mean, we looking at saying, is he a true NBA prospect or is he a product of name height? Like I said, it could be both, but just let's be honest here. I mean, he's not the worst player in the draft, and he's not going to be the best player in the draft. So, I mean, because when we're talking, if we're going to sit here and bash Bronny, one name that come to mind is like Giannis' brother. I mean, he's able to get a roster. Let's be real, man.
Right.
I mean, people talk about Bronny like, hey, man, Bronny is trash. He need to go back and play another year. I mean, so what? It's okay for Giannis' brother to hold down a roster spot, but Bronny can't go do the same. So
get minutes.
Right, exactly. So I mean, I think you know, as he continue to work on his game, he still has his father there, which is pretty good. And like TA said, just give you a couple of minutes, be able to play defense, you know, and continue to get better on the defensive side of the ball. You know, 3-and-D guy. I mean, hey, we see a lot of people that thrive in the league as just being a 3-and-D guy. You know, So like I said, I don't think he's the worst. I don't think he's the best, but he should get drafted. You know what I'm saying? You know, just off his dad's name. You know.
Yeah. The word that comes to mind for me is nepotism. Right. That's when you bring in your family. You bring your family in. You give your nephew a job for the summer. If he works out, if he takes over the family business, great. You bring your son in. I remember I didn't apply to work with my dad, right? There was no applicant. Come on. Like you own the payroll today. You ain't got to pass no tests. You ain't got to talk to the people that I got over the job. You have a job. Let's go. And for some reason in our community, when we do it, it's a big problem. Like it's looked at as so negative. Oh, well, everybody don't have that. You're right. Everybody don't. Like it's like life. It's unfair, right? But it doesn't mean he has to be treated unfairly. It doesn't mean I have to treat my son unfairly because I have an opportunity for him. He is benefiting from a famous last name, but there are many people benefiting from a famous last name, right? You talking about Ice Cube's son, he acting and stuff like that. Like you have so many George W. Bush Jr. Like you have the younger Bushes. Like that's what happens when you have a famous last name. You get those opportunities, but at some point you have to prove yourself. So he has shown talent. We're not talking about stats. Stats not great. The 26% 3-point percentage. I remember a game ago, Jason Tatum was shooting 27% from 3-point percentage, right? So shooting can improve and you know go up or down accordingly. He won't grow. He'll be lucky to be 6'2", right? If he's 6'1" now, he'll be lucky to be a 6'2" tweener guard. As a prospect, he does possess good IQ, and that's something that you never can tell until you get into NBA matchups. I've seen some great college players. I remember a player from Wake Forest, Randolph Childress. I thought Randolph Childress would be the next one of the greatest guards in the NBA history. I'd have bet anything I had at the time. Got drafted to Detroit, if I'm not mistaken. Couldn't stay on the floor. Couldn't do anything well. Spot up shooter, Trajan Langdon. I can name you guys that had some stats in college that would overwhelm you. And I will give you their stats in college, and I'll say, hey, what do you think they're averaging in the NBA? And you find out they fizzled out 2-3 years, not even 2 good seasons on the floor. His name does bring added attention. His performance on the court does suggest that it's more than just hype. And he has a genuine potential to succeed at the NBA level. He's provided that he continues to develop that skill. And he has the bloodline, as you all have alluded to. You talking about health, you're talking about training. He has unlimited resources. That's what a lot of people don't have, right? He can train with his team and everything all season long, but his off season is going to be different. His off season is going to be with his dad, right? The all-time leading scorer in the NBA. So I think that it's a great opportunity for him. The Knicks have pick 24. No way should he not be drafted a Knick at pick 24. No, absolutely no way. If he's there at 24, I think that you have to take him. I think you have to take Bronny James at 24.
So
I got him top 20, baby.
So if the Knicks take Bronny James at 24, y'all gonna make room for LeBron because you know he a free agent. He probably trying to go wherever his son gets drafted.
We don't have I don't think we can make the cap moves without bringing on. We will basically have to give away a player because we are about 18 million over the cap right now based on what
Julius Randle can go
does in the offseason. I don't think we have the move. We have to get rid of Randle and Mitchell and bring in expiring contracts and basically dump them. Because Bron ain't playing for less than 50. He's not playing for less than 40, 45, or 50.
He might make a few sacrifices for his son.
I can't see it. So. He has set the precedent to say, you know what? I'm getting paid because I want everybody else to get paid. The same way he set us up for these mega deals. I'm gonna put some pressure on the organization. They gonna pay me. If they pay me, they gotta pay the tier 2s, tier 3s, tier 4s. Everybody get a raise. I don't think he makes that sacrifice for his son for what he's done for financial gain for the players. That's my take.
I just want to throw this in. You know, LeBron is, in my mind, the smartest athlete we've ever experienced in our lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
Him just saying, I want to play with my son. Now he's, you know, they say he's back, but just planting that seed out there for these teams to say, hey, we might can get LeBron if we draft Bronny. He said, look, that guy is so smart. He does little things that come back. Like I said, plant a seed and watch it grow.
Yeah, that's what he
does. What LeBron, he does that all the time.
He's definitely changed the landscape of, you know, the finances of the NBA, how to leverage things. I mean, he's the king of leveraging his position and working it to his advantage. And he's taught a lot of NBA players, you know, ways to negotiate and ways to, you know, manipulate trades and get things how they want it structurally within the organization. So LeBron has done a lot for the game. I think he's also probably one of the most smartest guys to ever play in terms of on the court, in terms of IQ as well. So
yeah,
I think you also got to consider this. If I'm a small market team, you definitely draft him. There's no way you don't draft him in a small market because at the end of the day, like Caitlin Clark, and I'm not comparing, but as far as polarizing and popularity, he gonna sell tickets. If I'm one of those small market teams that's having trouble selling out an arena, you draft this kid just because, and then you put him on the court. If you got a choice between playing a second round pick who doesn't have a name recognition and putting Bronny James on a court or on a t-shirt or selling jerseys or whatever the case may be, it's a no-brainer. And in a bunch of those markets, especially like I said, that are struggling with revenue, draft him and see where the chips fall. If he's not a good player, then oh well, but you're gonna get at least a season of finding out. And you could definitely put him on the court in one of those small market areas just to see what it is that he can do.
Absolutely. I'm gonna go through our comments real quick. Douglas Cobb said, yes, he is, but the baby boy will be better. We kind of alluded to that. Douglas Cobb also says he will be like J.R. Smith, like a defensive guy coming in as a shooter, slasher from that standpoint. Doesn't look like he's a great LeBron James fan. He says top 10. He's in the top 10 of all times. He got the king sliding. Jody, what's going on, Jody? Jody said his dad pushing to play with him is going to kill the natural progression he should have had with a year or two in college. That's definitely debatable. That's definitely a debatable. If he stays in college 2-3 years, what's the outcome? At this point, that's something we may never know. Kyle Comeback says he might, though. At 40, he'll take a pay cut. One thing you said is I hadn't thought about, TA. He comes out, he's picked in the low teens, high 20s. I'm signing him to a 4-year deal, right? There's no hesitation. I'm signing him to a full guaranteed 4-year deal. I want his rights for 4 years because I know LeBron James will be out of the NBA in 4 years. And just to know that LeBron James will be associated with my franchise after his retirement, he's coming to my games.
Excellent point.
He's investing in what we have or what we do. That association is you're going to get back LeBron James Jr. LeBron's salary tenfold automatically when he's
year one
arena. Say, oh, LeBron will be at game 2. Game 2 sold out. I don't care who you playing, where you playing it at. I don't care if you're playing the worst team in the league and you the worst team in the league. The arena sold out. LeBron coming to the game. He's done with basketball, coming to watch his son play. And guess what? He gonna play. Or guess what? I might get Bron on the coaching staff. Might get Bron, running certain things. Like I might sign him to a 10-year deal. Whatever he want. Whatever Bron want when he get there, we signing him, we guaranteeing him. I want his rights for as long as possible. Jody said King James. He said James ain't taking no pay cut. I don't think so either. I think he will be his coach. Watch out. I like that. Like I said, I really like the opportunity of being his coach. We got one more topic tonight, and this is for my basketball fans, and I think it's one of those things that will always be debated. And hopefully we can talk about it a little tonight. We're talking about the best. We're swinging back to baseball, staying on the basketball topic. Curry, KD, and the Warriors. You have LeBron, Kyrie, Cavs. You have the Jordan, Pippen Bulls. You have the Shaq and Kobe Lakers. Who's the best championship team and why? Talk to me. Let's go, NB. Talk to me, NB. Who you got for your best championship team?
Well, I mean, just you see, growing up in both eras, it's kind of hard to say to me because the simple fact is, I mean, you got to look at how the game has changed. Now, I like what Jordan and Pippen did back then. They dominated. Of course, they dominated. Then also come switching over to Kobe and Shaq that came through, in 2000, they dominated. And then you came with Curry, KD and the Warriors, which, I mean, I'm very impressed with KD and the Warriors because of the way they, their ability to shoot the ball like they done in basketball. I mean, that's my reason. If I had to just nudge it out, I mean, I'm going to go with KD and Curry, man, because the way the game changed and the way that they shot the ball, man. Nowadays, I mean, it's just tough not to go with them.
All right, come on with it, TA. Come on with it. I'm ready. Let's say you itching.
Hey man, listen. I'm on record. I'm not the huge, KD Curry, situation, but I do respect the simple fact that those are two of the greatest shooters. Curry being probably the greatest shooter of all time. So my simple thoughts on it is this. If I'm going to select one, I'm going with LeBron and Kyrie simply because they beat the best team, in my opinion, that I've ever seen in a finals with the Golden State Warriors. Those guys were 73-9 that year that they won the chance. I mean, that they came up against Kyrie and LeBron, and then they were up 3-1, if I'm not mistaken, and came back from down a 3-1 deficit to win a 7-game series. So I think KD, LeBron and Kyrie are, in my opinion, for a one game, for a one final series. Now, if you're talking about overall culmination, then that's a whole different topic. But if you're talking about just a one final series, for my money, that's probably the best finals outcome because that was a great Golden State team. They were, for all intents and purposes, they were doggone near unbeatable the entire regular season. 9 losses in 82 games. That is unreal. I mean, literally, that's unreal. And you're talking about, again, Kyrie having a clutch bucket, LeBron doing what LeBron does, Kevin Love. Like, that team was not expected to beat. They were underdogs going into that series, and LeBron James and Kyrie had an amazing series along with Kevin Love and the rest of those guys. So I'm going with, for my money, I'm going with LeBron and Kyrie.
Ooh. Let's go with it. Mr. Play to win the game. Talk to me.
Arguably in the GOAT conversation, you got MJ, you got LeBron, and a lot of people put Kobe in there.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got Shaq, who's arguably the most dominant big man of all times. But that Warriors team with KD would mop the floor with all the rest, would blast all these guys. You put them on the court. They can't score with them. And I'm not a Warriors fan. I'm not a Warriors fan at all, but those guys, I know you say, well, who gonna defend Shaq? Okay, who gonna stop Curry? If you're looking at the Bulls team, who you gonna put on him? Jordan, Pippen?
Ron
Harper. You got Clay when he was Clay.
Yeah.
His mama called him Clay. I'm gonna call him Clay.
His mama called him Clay. I'm gonna call him Clay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, they're right.
Then you got KD. Look, those guys, you couldn't answer stopping all those guys. So that Warriors team would beat the Bulls, would beat the Lakers, would beat the Cavs too. The Cavs, they had a great comeback on their year, but KD wasn't with them that year.
Yeah.
That's when they went crying, when they said Draymond went crying to, the story. He went crying to KD in the parking lot. But that team.
Doug want to know what era are we playing?
I don't care what era.
2024, today's era, everybody in their prime. Are we playing in 1995?
Hey, you can play it whenever you want to play it. Those guys are shooters.
That's
snipers everywhere.
That's a fact.
And we're not even talking about Iguodala, who you could put on MJ or Kobe. I'm not saying he shut them down, but he's definitely a high caliber defensive player to contain them enough to where they wouldn't be able to keep up.
He did win Finals MVP, but he also only held LeBron to like 35 points a game. But y'all go ahead. I'm sorry. That was
he had it down, didn't he?
39% shooting from the field.
All right. Hey, who the next man up, man? Who got their spiel for the best championship team, man? Who the next man up? Talk to me.
I'm the next man up. It's C-Note.
Let's go,
baby. Put me on the center screen. Let everybody hear this.
Hey, listen, I'm putting you on there. You think I ain't, but what the old folks say, you think I ain't, but I ain't.
Nah, this was a personal topic for TA. He wanted to really debate this. I know this was something itching to talk about. But I will agree with TA from the standpoint, which finals was the more aesthetically pleasing to watch. It was definitely the 2016 finals. That finals was the most interesting dynamic I've ever seen as far as just pleasing to watch. You had first half of the series dominated by the Warriors. Few injuries took place, suspension took place, and LeBron and Kyrie took over the series. You had the most clutch shot in NBA history, in my opinion. And then you had the most clutch block in NBA history take place to cement the win. It was a very, very pleasing series to watch, but definitely wasn't the best series in terms of the best team. I just can't agree with that. To say that Cleveland beat the best team ever would be to say that the Warriors didn't upgrade by adding KD. That just doesn't make sense. You can't be the best team and then go back and say the Warriors were better with KD. I mean, you can't. That's just a contradiction.
You can't have it both ways.
You can't have it both ways. Exactly.
Okay.
And also, you also got to realize the Warriors dominated the regular season, but they did not dominate the playoffs. They actually struggled throughout the playoffs. They end up overcoming some obstacles. I got to remember, OKC took them to 7. The Warriors was down 3-1 that series, and they came back and overcame that. So OKC could have easily played the Cavs in the final. So again, I don't think they were anywhere near the best team. They were the most accomplished team, but they weren't the best team. So to answer your question, I think that should go to the Bulls because I have a criteria. My criterion trying to judge the best team of all time is, how much did you win? Were you a dynasty? And I think the Bulls fit the bill on that.
Mm-hmm.
They're a 2-time dynasty. They had 2 3-peats. They also endured the most. They stuck together as a team. Jordan obviously had his obstacles in the beginning of his career. In the first round, got Pippen. Pippen had to be developed. Pippen was not a ready-made product coming into the NBA. In fact, year 1, when they finally got the first round, Pippen averaged like 5 to 6 points a game. And, it took Pippen about 3 to 4 years. Now, once Pippen became an all-star, Jordan never lost. Not prime Jordan. So Pippen developed into an all-star gradually. He became an all-star. They went on to win 3 in a row. Jordan took a break, obviously, came back, and they won another 3 in a row. Then he retired. So, I mean, you can't and Pippen was the only all-star he's ever played with in his whole career. And nobody else made the all-star while playing with Jordan in his whole career. So, obviously, Rodman was a Hall of Famer, but Rodman wasn't an all-star at that time. He was he really was a reject at that point in his career when the Bulls picked him up. The Spurs kind of, he was just kind of dwindling from team to team, and the Bulls kind of picked him up and resurrected his career. So I think that says a lot about the culture that the Bulls had in terms of Jordan motivating his teammates and getting the most out of them and being determined and going for the 6 championships.
Okay. Listen, I've suffered. I am a diehard Knicks fan. So I can tell you right now that I hate no championship teams more than I hate the Chicago Bulls. Every other team or thing, it has a different storyline that I can say this is how it started, this is how it got there. They added this piece. This person was hurt. But I suffered through the 90s. I suffered through 2 3-peats of 3 of which I felt like I had a solid team going into the playoffs, deep into the playoffs. The Jordan Pippen Bulls were absolutely, they adapted. They brought in pieces. People felt like, they just had the same team for 6 years. They Horace Grant, Tony Kukoc, Rodman, like they moved a lot of pieces. They went to the big 3, the big non-3 at center with Luke Longley, Bill Winnington, and Purdue. 3 guys that probably wouldn't even get on a court today. You couldn't even play them in no fashion. But they won with them in that era against dominant centers, right? There was a dominant center era, and they brought in 3 guys from
the watermelon truck,
right? From Waffle House, right? Waffle House too. And so I have to say the Bulls team was more dominant, adaptable, and I felt like every team had something with Kerry and KD. Their offensive efficiency, like Brad said, I think in a 1-game series, a 2-game, or 3-game series, if you don't score, you don't win. If you don't score, you just can't beat them. But I have seen scoring dry up in the playoffs. I have seen shooting woes in the playoffs. Luka last night, low percentage shooting. Kyrie, low percentage shooting. So the Bulls teams, no high percentage shooting, but there were no low percentage games either. very efficient. People that took shots could make shots. There were no long runs because they played deep. They played great team defense. You had 3 to 4 elite defenders on the court at all times. So there were no easy shots. You switched from Pippen to Rodman, from Rodman to Jordan. Like there is no break there, right? There is literally no break there. So I'm gonna give my hats off to the Bulls. If I had to pick a championship team that I didn't want to see or I hated to see win the most, I gotta go Bulls. Let's go with our parting shots tonight. It's been an absolutely phenomenal show, and I'm gonna go bottom to top. I'm gonna go Mr. Play to win the game. What's on your mind as you give your parting shot tonight, Mr. Play?
Man, look, I'm a 42-year-old gamer. You know, I know a lot of people look at gamers and look at us being of our age saying, you know, y'all still play video games? Yes, I do. I told my wife a long time ago, I like, hey, you know where I am. I'm at home. I'm on the game.
Yeah, I'm on the game.
I could be hanging with my boys. We going to the strip club or something. I could be doing anything, you know, like that, but I'm not. But NCAA football is making its return in July. Ooh. This game has been down since 2013.
Yep.
It was NCAA 14, but it was the 2013 year. So we're looking at 11 years without college football game. Mm-hmm. Man, I'm so excited and pumped for this. I'm like a little child on Christmas morning. College football is coming back, you know. And I think it's going to be great. Every time I get a chance, I'm looking at all types of videos. I want to know what's going on. I want to know what they're talking about. Man, I'm just so excited and overjoyed for that, man. But that's my important shot.
Hey, that's what's up, man. Let's take it to Jerry's world. TA, talk to me. What's your parting shot for this evening show?
Man, great point, Brad. I'm looking forward to that as well. Some of you may or may not know, but I work in the education sector with a bunch of young kids. I want to just really emphasize to parents, man, one of the things that I've seen and noticed over the course of education, man, especially with athletics, is really seeing a lot of parents, I'm not going to say pigeonhole, but trying to direct their kids into one sport really, really, really early, man. We got a lot of athletes coming through the middle school and high school level, man. Let these kids develop. What we're seeing nowadays, we hadn't seen in our lifetime as far as how students are athletically talented, even at a young level, man. Like they're rating third, fourth, and fifth graders, and these kids can actually play. So parents, man, listen. And all the things that you do, especially with helping your students develop athletically, let them take the time to choose a sport. Those things will come. You don't have to force them into one thing. They'll kind of find their niche as they get older. But parents, please, 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 we're missing out on some great talent, especially with high school and middle school coaches telling kids you need to do this because you look like the typical this or the typical that. These kids will find their own way. And I really want parents to know that because we're missing out on a lot of great talent in these areas because kids are being forced one direction or the other.
All right. C-Note on the money. Talk to me.
Man, the NBA playoffs, man, it's been excellent. You know, I think, as y'all know, I picked the Dallas Mavericks to go all the way. Again, I think it's Luka's year. I think it's Kyrie's year. They have perfect chemistry. I hadn't seen the chemistry with Kyrie on the team this great since probably ever. Even the chemistry is even, in my opinion, better than he and LeBron from a likability standpoint. They seem to like each other on a more of a personal level. But you can't argue that LeBron and Kyrie played well together. So that's definitely debatable as far as how well Kyrie played with the superstar next to him. But I see the series going 6. I think Minnesota wins the next series. Wins the next game, and Dallas come home and take care of game 6. So it will be extended. Otherwise we'll be 4 or 5 days without basketball with them gearing up for the final. So I really think I'm going to lean towards Minnesota winning the next game and Dallas winning game 6. And I think it's going to be a really good matchup with Boston and Dallas. I think it's going to be a very explosive, high-scoring games during that series. I think that's going to be a very compelling matchup. I think that's something we can talk about moving forward on one of our topics.
Okay, I love it. Aunt B, talk to me.
Yeah, man. I don't have much, but just want to say, man, I think that when we're talking about sports and things like that, and looking at, everybody being hyped around, homecoming events, just take a toll of just saying being, supportive in the programs that you have in your high school, man. Just being a donor, it's just no matter what it is. I mean, if it's $50 to $100, towards these sports and things like that, because you want to see these teams play on a high level, but people don't realize that, it take additional funds and things like that to, run these programs. So just speaking of that, don't just be excited for the events that, that bring you, fun and things like that, but just start, helping these, coaches and things out with their program, just making, donations from the heart.
Hey, I love it. For my parting shot, I'm going to switch gears. This is something we hadn't talked about. We brought along this podcast to talk about all sports, and one that we haven't mentioned yet is probably not super popular right now, but tennis. When I started to look down through what was going on in tennis and who was hot, who was not, I literally haven't followed tennis since Andre Agassi, Pete Sampras. When you think about tennis, those are two names you just, okay, I know Pete Sampras, I know Jean Borg, and Andre Agassi. Those names were, you wanted to see if those guys were winning. But Carlos Alcaraz is the hottest name out right now in tennis. Nothing short of absolutely spectacular. I started Googling him and watching him play. Young, he's a Spaniard. He's taking the ATP by storm right now. So if you're not following any tennis, he's a guy that you can check out and follow. Very fiery. He's talking. He's amped up. He's talking to the crowd, to the ref, to anybody to listen. He's got some great victories over some very well-established stars, and they have marked him as a future Grand Slam champion. So that's it for today. So tennis is my up-and-coming sport. I want to make sure that we're watching. I've been on a tennis court, and if you think tennis is a sport that you can just jump out there and play, you've absolutely lost your mind. If you think listen, you talking about basketball, no plays off, like you have no seconds off if you want to play tennis, because that you getting that ball back across there in literally seconds. My old lady loves tennis, and when she started talking about it, I get sad because she can actually move around out there and volley back and forth. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna die out here. But that's it for today's partner shot. Whether it's football or tennis, the world of sports never fails to amaze. Keep your eyes on the games and your hearts in the sport. Until next time, this has been Mike Talk Sports Podcast. We'll see you next time.